Boy, ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited about this one here. We are live in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform where all music, all sports, and all wrestling matters. And you might want to say this man, this month could be his last blood, but something tells me he'll tell us why that won't happen. He'll also tell us why this Sunday, this syndicate siege where he and some others in the TF Crew locker room, well, they're not going to be under siege, and just maybe those tables are going to be turned. We'll talk about what's ahead here this Sunday. We'll also most certainly talk about a New Year's vengeance coming up 2 weeks from this weekend, and it involves this man and a championship. Yes, we'll get into that. We'll also talk about that All Wrestling Matters championship, which certainly everybody's talking about. We'll also talk about maybe some pure Vanguard. We'll also talk about some faces in the TF Crew that What a Small World that yours truly spoke about 5 years ago. 5 years ago. I don't even know if anybody here in this chat was wrestling except maybe Ox McCoy. We'll get into that. We'll also talk about some huge events you gotta talk about and sponsor. We're also going to talk about a reel that got so many views that maybe even a guy that I interviewed who's the second longest tenured guitarist for the man Ozzy Osbourne, maybe should have that reel on his page. We'll get into that in terms of the number of views. We'll also say a few words once again for somebody near and dear to Gabe Sayers, who has been at ringside with Gabe. We'll get into that. We'll also talk about some other places that Gabe has been, and maybe he will be, and certainly have some rebuttals when especially it came to Monday's guest, the reigning, defending TF Crew World YouTube Champion. But I'm a sponsor of this show coming up on Sunday, so I have to give equal opportunity to everybody, and I have to talk about that man, and I'm going to give this man that opportunity to respond. Plus, we're going to give something to the TF Crew. I'm very excited about this one. I now get a chance to do this intro because I haven't done it in a couple of days, and I'll explain why. But ladies and gentlemen, let's certainly start this show off here in style on Sportswire Radio, the number one global radio station where all music, all sports, and all wrestling matters. So with that, without further ado, here on the Sports Report, number one sports show, the man that sits on top of the throne as the All Wrestling Matters champion, the reigning, defending IMF hardcore champion, and the owner of one of the premier companies around in all of wrestling, the TF Crew. His name is simply put, the Heartstopper, Gabe the double champ is here, my friend. How are we doing?
We are doing fantastic tonight. Tom, how are you doing tonight, Tom?
I'm doing great. I'll tell you why I'm doing great. A, you're here, as I've met you in real life, and I had other people that nobody really knows here at Sportswire actually say a lot of great things about you. So that always is certainly a good thing. I got to give that person a big shout out. Yes, it's true. But also, I get to do the intro here for the first time in a few days because I taped an interview earlier today with the bass player of the heavy metal band Tailgunner, which maybe could use some of your views on Instagram. They got 790,000 though on their last YouTube video where we had him here, Bones, and I could. I was here doing something else pre-recorded for the band Aftermath. Couldn't do the intro, but nevertheless, I finally got to do it here. And welcome back.
I'm so excited to be back, Tom. It's been way too long, as it normally is. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to talk to the people again. I'm happy to talk to you. Happy to talk some business. Get right back down to business because we got some business going on right now. IMF Hardcore Champion, All Wrestling Matters World Champion, soon to be TF Crew Tag Team Champion. 3 belts, 1 twink. Can it get better than this? Can it get better than this, Tom?
I'm going to say it. You'll probably laugh, but this is one of those instances where you may actually need, I guess, luggage more to carry these belts, more luggage if you get this 3rd championship come Sunday, because you'll be going to Cedar Rapids with not 1, not 2, but 3 championships. That'll certainly, you'll have to get some more luggage.
Yeah, something I do, and it may come off as a little marky, but I do it on purpose, is I actually refuse to put the belts in luggage. I just carry them to the airport. I'll wear them or carry them through the airport. And a lot of people stop me, want to talk to me, ask to take pictures with the belt. And listen, I'm not saying they already know what the belt is. I'm not claiming to be a global famous superstar. But what it does is advertise the company and advertise the belt more. Because then again, if you're going to take a picture of me while I'm wearing the belt, you're more inclined to be like, oh, what's the name of this belt? Where does it come from? What company does it represent? And then when you get that ball spinning, that's how we're building new fans for these companies, putting more eyes on professional wrestling. You know what I mean? Like there's that deeper purpose behind it.
No, it's an interesting point that you made, because Friday had on Ace Christian, who was the WDWA light heavyweight champion. Also, he was in IMF a few times, and he was talking about the championship belt, and he said it's an honor. And some people look at a championship belt as a prop, but really it shows that the company has trust in you, that they believe in you, and they want you to represent you. And that's a thing I hadn't thought of, that someone like yourself who's traveling to places like IMF and others is actually wanting to showcase that championship belt, also the All Wrestling Matters title, to give people that awareness, that curiosity factor. Hey, they may not know exactly what company it is or what championship, but almost that interesting curiosity about what you have and who you are. That's an interesting point.
I think a great example was actually in the Cedar Rapids airport, because I had been there like twice frequently on the weekend, coming in and out for the show. I actually then, like, the flight people knew me by then, which was great.
Oh, wow.
And actually getting flight people come up to me, what's the belts? Okay, cool. Can I take a picture? The whole 9 yards. And they take a picture and they're like, that's awesome. Where'd you do this? I'm like, Cedar Rapids. And they're like, oh, I live really close to that. Give them the Facebook group. They like the Facebook group. I don't know Facebook. I don't understand how it works. They do whatever they do on Facebook. I tell them about the next show in January. Like, we're going to be there. Listen, will they be there? I don't know. Nobody can actually fully confirm if they'll be there or not. But again, it's like, if I can put more butts in seats, and I'm from Connecticut, there's no excuse for the rest of independent wrestling to be putting butts in seats. Go out there, advertise, just try. You know what I mean? And that's one thing. That's a service that I want to do to every company that I'm a part of, and especially IMF, because I love and support IMF so much.
Oh, absolutely.
Try to put more butts in seats. And even if it's just starting conversations in the Cedar Rapids airport while wearing the IMF Hardcore Championship, then I'll do that. I don't care. I have no shame. I go out there, make friendly conversation with people. They want to come to the show. I get them invested. I tell them, I'm facing the old champ, Ox McCoy, in January. You guys got to come out.
He's here in the chat. He's here.
I got to be, it's a crazy match. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, okay, cool. Give them the information. It's all that kind of stuff. My goal at the end of the day is to just push and promote every single company that I'm a part of to the max. And so being able to also be the All Wrestling Matters World Heavyweight Champion right now is also a huge part of that, because everywhere I go, I'm representing the fact that all wrestling matters. I'll be coming out with both of these belts Sunday at TF Crew. Anytime a company allows it, I'm coming out with every belt that I have, because I want to represent, I want to push it, and I want to show it off to the world, whether it's in the airport, in the ring, or just walking around. I'm always here to advertise.
No, I think that's a great point, and I think that's why a lot of people are excited to have you on, because you do give insights that maybe some people don't get a chance to hear every day because of your places and opportunities that you've gotten in your career. You've certainly had a really interesting career in a short amount of time. Obviously, we know the exposure you've gotten in GTS, being a part of companies like certainly NEW, where you've held their championship, TF Crew, certainly your own company, and being a part of places like Pure Vanguard Wrestling, obviously IMF you just mentioned. You've done a lot of different things in a short amount of time, so it's always good to hear a different perspective. But I'll certainly start things off here, since you mentioned the All Wrestling Matters Championship, and I see somebody here in particular who is very excited to see you on here, and it's not Ricky Romero, wink and a nod, but for those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, I formally get a chance to ask you, what does it mean to you to be the All Wrestling Matters champion?
It's to represent the underground in the best way possible. You know what I mean? Is I feel like I am able to now represent a specific story in this kind of genre of wrestling of just defiance and not allowing life to knock you down and take you out. I could have easily retired after the first open heart surgery. I could have gave up after the backyard bash got canceled halfway through and I lost thousands of dollars, right? I've had every opportunity to walk away from this business and be like, wrestling is too niche, it's too this, it's, I'm getting hurt, it's not worth it. But I don't. I'm still here, still putting in work, going to new places, going to new states, talking to new people every single day, trying to make new connections because I care more than just about my career, but about the community and the health of the community as a whole. So being able to be the face of that with the All Wrestling Matters World Championship is not only a great honor, but it is also a major responsibility because I refuse to just be some champion that sits there and hot dogs my dick and doesn't, promote the belt, doesn't want to defend it, just wants it as a piece of just merch on my wall. That's not what I want belts for. I want belts so I can go out and promote and represent the company or just the idea that entrusts in me as much as having the belt would. So having the All Wrestling Matters World Championship, I have not actually had the honor of defending it yet out of state, but the plan is there. Again, I'm going to be wearing the belt on Sunday in the tag match. Anywhere I'm going that's going to be allowing me to hold and represent the belt, I'm going, I'm repping, and I'm looking actively for new places to go that'll allow me to show off the belt and looking for new places that's going to allow me to defend the belt. I want to face some of the best. I want to challenge some of the best, and I don't care. The belt represents so much, so I don't care if it's in a backyard. I don't care if it's in an arena with 100,000 people, right? I'm willing to go out and defend if you give me a good reason. I want to go out there, do things that are meaningful, and show people that wrestling is such a diverse thing, and everybody has so much to learn and grow, including myself, and just go out there and push that sentiment.
Well, it's interesting you said that because you said you'll defend it and want to go to new places. Now, I know you've been to Iowa. We're going to talk a lot about that. I know you've been to Massachusetts. I know you've been to other parts of Connecticut. I know you've been to New Jersey, but you say you want to go to other places, which has got me thinking because I do a lot in places like the great states of Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Ohio, and you have that All Wrestling Matters Championship, and there's a lot of wrestlers on my platform who come from those states who maybe you haven't met yet. So would that possibly mean the Heartstopper Gabe Sayers that you would possibly like to show up to some of those companies and maybe with that championship if that opportunity presented itself?
Absolutely. I think that's the point of the championship. And I think that is my duty with the championship. A lot of people have different duties when they win a championship. Mine is to grow and inspire. So if it does mean showing up in places that are maybe a little smaller or a little less on the map than others, then I'm okay with that and I'm ready. No matter where it is, we figure out how to get me there and we figure out how to maximize myself as a product, whether that's through seminar, matches, defending the belt, just giving out advice, helping train people. I'm willing to do it all. Talk about social media, whatever it's got to be. I just want to go out there and push and help people because that to me is my purpose with the belt, is to put it on a bigger pedestal. But to be able to put the belt on the biggest pedestal possible, I have to go to a small company, a large company, a medium-sized company, anywhere and everywhere, all over the country, and just show off the belt to the absolute maximum, and also make sure that the belt has a positive message with it, right? I don't want to be the guy that ducks people and just lets it sit on my wall. It's just a wall piece, or make some corny videos with it, right? I want to go out there and I want people to think positively of the belt. And how are they going to think positively of the belt? They need to think positively of me. So I'm going out there, I'm inspiring, I'm training, I'm helping, I'm teaching, I'm wrestling, I'm representing. Those are all the good things that I have to do to maximize my worth and my worth with that belt.
No, I've seen you do some of the training. I saw that on Jovi's vlog, and I think that's a great thing. I think those are some great points, and I would most certainly love to see you maybe in places like the WVWF, Mon Valley Pro Wrestling, SCW in Ohio. I mean, there's a long list of companies, the WDWA, and when I think about some names that come on here, like Tuesday's guest, the Gentleman of Exquisite Caliber, Godric Sanwell, Dave Jameson, who's now fresh with a haircut. The Ace Christian, who I mentioned here on Friday's show. I mean, there's Daniel Tafu. I mean, also has double championships. I mean, there's a lot of guys that you haven't really got a chance to maybe meet, but they're also here in the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic, and I hadn't thought of that. I would love to see you maybe go out there and wrestle some of those guys if there's a will and a way, because Connecticut, Ohio, Pennsylvania, maybe that could happen. There's a lot of great talents that come on here that represent those companies, and they have that message, that positive message, and they go out here and we have a lot of great stuff that we've got a chance to do with those companies over the past several months. So I would think that would be really something interesting if there was a will and a way.
When there's a will, there is a way, Tom. And if they want me out there, business can just get done. Obviously, it's a business at the end of the day. We got to make it worth it for everybody. But I think the IMF can vouch that I go out there and I maximize my time out there, trying to work with as many different people as possible, trying to teach new skills out there, whether from wrestling to social media to life, all of it. Like I want to go out there and I want to just make people better in every facet of their life. So I'm willing. I'm ready. I love to travel. You already know I go up and down the East Coast constantly to Jersey, PA, New York, Mass. Oh, the miles on my poor car.
You're working here. Are you still working in New York, by the way? You still working in Manhattan?
I haven't wrestled in New York in a while, but there are some tentative conversations to get me out to Brooklyn, which is
well, if you get to Brooklyn, I would definitely be, very, very, very eager about that, and I think that would be great for people to see. And obviously, let's talk about some places that you are going to be, and let's talk about this Sunday here. I really got to promote that, and I'm a sponsor of that show, and I want people to certainly support the show, and that is Syndicate Siege, and Monday, Angel Santiago, the man that is in control of this Sunday show, because you, Gabe Sayers, you did not read the fine details. If he had defeated Rad Dad Radley Belma, that he would get a chance to take over the show on Sunday, and well, he's taken over, and that has certainly meant a lot of implications here, and I want to give you the opportunity to talk about that and some of the rebuttals you may have toward the TF Crew World YouTube champion, Angel Santiago.
The thing with Angel hosting Syndicate Siege is obviously there is a major frustration that this corrupt, just stank ass fucking human is out here running the show. The unshaven, unwashed, uncleanly Puerto Rican bitch that Angel is. And I think, yes, listen, at the end of the day, to get Rad Dad the rematch, right? Two people have to sign a contract. So I did have to give out and accept terms that I did not want to accept to get Rad Dad that rematch. But that was all in good faith. And it disappoints me because I know Rad Dad was not at 100% health during that match. I know he had a major fever. He was going through a bunch of health issues during the match.
He spoke about it here on Sportswire. He spoke about it.
I know Rad Dad wasn't at his best, but again, Rad Dad is a brother to me, so I'm willing to put my skin out there for a brother. You know what I mean? For one of my brothers, I'm willing to put some skin out there. And if it meant that Angel hosts this show, then you know what? So be it. You know what? So be it. I'm tired of filling that building. I'm tired of buying the ring. I'm tired of getting all the sponsors and trying to get people to pay for tickets and paying all the damn talent. Sorry, y'all are expensive. No, so you know what, Angel? You do it. You do it. Cheeseburger. That could not have been cheap. Tom, let's be so for real for a second. You think cheeseburger is cheap? Hell no.
No, he didn't work for just a cheeseburger. I got you.
Hell no.
Yeah, I got you.
So you know what? Let him pay for it. You know what? Fucking, Puerto Rican inheritance must have hit or something. I don't know if it was fucking his quinceañera came up or something. I don't know where he got the money from. I don't ask. You know what? Let's go. I want to go put on an amazing show for TF Crew, represent TF Crew to the max. And guess what? You know what he couldn't take away from me? The fact that me and Mikey were #1 contenders for the tag team championship.
Although he said that he may be, let's just say, paying a visit to you guys on Sunday.
As much as whatever he wants, he could send the National Coast Guard at me. I frankly don't care. I have a literal pitbull as a tag partner. All right, Mikey's either gonna just destroy and just run right through. Well, he's not gonna run. He doesn't really run. He just Mikey's either gonna waddle right through.
Yeah, Mikey don't need to run.
Or he's gonna eat you. Okay, so frankly, I have zero issues with my pitbull of a tag team partner. I don't care who you send. You could send Jimmy Controvirgin at me. You could send Jeremy Lacroix at me. Yeah, you kick Christopher Black in the dick. You can't send him at me. I frankly, I don't care who you send at me. I'm going to get past him, just like we're going to get past the Murder. I said it in my promo against the Murder that came out recently, and I'm going to reiterate the same sentiment that us beating the Murder for the tag belts is not about putting new gold on our shoulders, technically silver, putting new belts on our shoulders, right? The point of beating the Murder is to bring freedom to the TF crew, because the Murder have held these belts for way too long, held them in a damn stranglehold, and they are not what true champions should be. Me and Mikey are going to change the perception of the tag team titles when we win them. That's what this message is all about. That's why the preparation that we had to go against CUM, the completely unstoppable machines, Louis Jr. and Sr., Deathmatch Hall of Famer, GCW Deathmatch Hall of Famer, was unbridled. I've never seen Mikey work this hard. And trust me, I had to. You ever seen like the bit where you got like the fishing rod with the cookie on the end of it? I mean, I got him. We're working, Tom. We're going at it. How much harder do you think we worked to prepare against the Murder? The Murder are the same people that used a chain to damn near hang Mikey in the ropes during the Death Row show.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah, no, listen, there's no question that they're outstanding champions, and this is going to be a match that we're all very excited about. So I guess I should ask you then, to be the TF crew tag team champions here with that opportunity alongside Mikey, what would that mean to you coming up here?
It's all about freeing the TF crew and promoting tag team wrestling in the best way possible. We've had some extremely fun tag matches in the TF crew and even out of the TF crew in other places like Smash Master Wrestling that we've been able to team up together at.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's all about bringing freedom to the TF crew, bringing freedom to those tag team championships, and being able to show off those tag team championships and defend it against anyone and everyone. Me and Mikey ran through Jake Dvorak and Jeff Nova. So Jake Dvorak really has earned my respect. I think Jake
absolutely. He wrestled Eric Black just before.
He's a monster. Yeah, right? Jake Dvorak is a monster. And I'm not at all going to say credit like, oh my God, the match just like, oh, it pushed Jake Dvorak's career. But what I will say was the match was a great showing for Jake Dvorak in front of a red hot sold out audience.
Absolutely.
And I think that's good for everybody. That's good for everybody involved in the match. And I think Jake Dvorak was someone that was so awesome going to war with. Jeff Nova is a different story. I had the respect for Jeff Nova to go out there and stop the Murder from beating him down.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where the respect ended, right?
Sure.
And we haven't heard from Jeff. Jeff,
he actually had a birthday recently. I mean, if you knew about that, he did have a birthday recently. I have to give him that much.
His Dom girlfriend or wife probably took him out and spanked him around.
I wouldn't know about those details, but I do know nevertheless that listen, we love Jake. Jake's an amazing competitor, and it's great to see guys like that go out there and travel, and you guys are all awesome. But obviously having those tag team championships would certainly, I'm sure, make Angel not too happy. But I want to go back to Rad, because that was the match that was just announced here for you, because that Matt Pro championship that Rad has, he's defending it here. I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
I think with Rad being forced, at first I was like, man, I was pretty upset because I was like, we're not going to have Rad Dad on the show. That sucks. Angel's going to, be petty. And
because Angel said on Monday's show that we didn't really know what was going to happen to Rad.
I thought Angel was going to be petty and spiteful and not book Rad. And I think that's extremely disrespectful to the fans, because the fans love Rad, and Rad's just such a great performer.
But
Angel went lower because only Angel Santiago finds a way to go lower, because he just loves digging around lower regions. Angel Santiago then decided to make Rad defend his Matt Pro Grand Championship by, getting an agreement going with Matt Pro, which is also fantastic, right? Matt Pro is a fantastic company, so I'll give it credit.
Great message, by the way. It really is an important company for a lot of reasons.
Right, and I'm so excited to work with them. I think that that's going to be super beneficial for both sides. But now you see the corruption of Angel and how much he likes sniffing around underwear, and he decided to make Rad defend the belt in a fatal four-way. And he even threw his own stablemate in there because he's such a mark, right? He was like, let's throw Jimmy Controversion in there because, Syndicate's going to take home the belt. Oh, you know what?
And Jimmy's wrestled Rad, so he feels that maybe because Jimmy has experience in wrestling Rad for a championship match, that would give him maybe an opportunity or an advantage here, nevertheless.
And maybe that's why he put Jimmy in there instead of Jeremy Lacroix. I'm not sure. But
it's an interesting point. He was very, very complimentary of Jeremy. Obviously, we know Jeremy from Pure Vanguard Wrestling, but he put Jimmy here in this. That's an interesting point you make.
I think probably because he knows Rad better. I mean, that is basic strategy. It makes sense to
Yeah.
me. But I will say, Mark the Shark, love to see Mark the Shark getting a
Yeah.
big opportunity here. He is a Matt Pro guy, so it's cool to see a Matt
Absolutely.
Pro
Yep, I know
guy
Mark.
getting ripped with it too. Also, GTS US champ right now. Mark the Shark, really great guy, great competitor. Interested to see more from a scouting perspective out of Mark, so I think this is a great chance for him to get a good showing in. And I think the dark horse of the match is Leonidas.
Oh, I think
Leonidas,
wants to bounce back after what happened between him and Castor in the
yep.
last show. Absolutely.
Yep, and I think this is not only a bounce back for Leonidas, but these are three highly touted veterans that are traveling the independent scene actively, have fantastic resumes, have worked. Mark has worked Muda before, the great Muda. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Jimmy's worked Tommy Dreamer, Rad's worked the Rockers. You know, like all these guys have
Yep.
insane resumes.
Darius Carter, he beat to win the Mad Pro Championship.
Right,
Yeah,
right. All these guys have insane resumes. This is a great opportunity for Leonidas to build his own resume and really go out there, have a fantastic showing. And listen, I said he's a dark horse for a reason. He goes out there and he wins the grand championship. That is huge for Leonidas.
Yeah.
That's something that catapults his career, and that's what TF Crew is all about: catapulting young, talented wrestlers' careers. I don't like to see it come at the cost of Rad Dad getting screwed out of his belt, so I'm not promoting that Rad Dad gets screwed out of his belt by any stretch.
But Angel does have a point in that. Listen, Rad got the opportunity, and Rad was very vocal about getting the TF Crew World YouTube Championship, and unfortunately, for your sake, and certainly for Rad's, Rad passed out, and he could not get the job done. And Angel, in order to prove a point, this is what he's doing to Rad, and Rad's only got a 25% chance of retaining the Map Pro Grand Championship here coming up this Sunday.
Listen, I believe in Rad. I am a fan of Rad. I am a colleague of Rad. I think Rad. I see Rad as like a mentor. I think he's a fantastic wrestler. I absolutely believe in the uphill battle, but I feel like sometimes when Rad has those massive uphill battles is when Rad Dad's at his strongest. So just like the message of the belt is all about autism awareness. It's all about, defying expectations, just beating out the preconceived notions that people have for you. I think Rad Dad's going to go out there. I think Rad Dad's going to retain his championship. And that's just my hot take. I got Rad. Rad, that's the man right there. It's my guy.
No, listen, Rad has been on here many times, and Jimmy's been on here many times, and I think it'll be very interesting to see Jimmy and Rad lock up once again for a championship.
Yeah, in a new company too.
Yep. In a new company. I think there's no question that Jimmy is going to be under pressure to win one here, but I think you make an interesting point. Leonidas is the dark horse here because he's the guy that's got a lot to prove. It's backs against the wall, wants to bounce back, especially after what happened between him and Lee and Castor semi-main event. That was a big spot right before the main event between Rad and Angel. So, and there's Mark the Shark, whose experience speaks volumes. So I think it's going to be a really interesting match, and we're very excited that it's going to be a part of the card. And then I got to talk to you about this one here, Francesca Cheney and Emily Saxton. I mean, what do you think happens here? You got your women's match. What do you see here?
Yeah, this is actually going to be on the pre-show, so make sure if any fans are in here, get in here around 2:30 once the doors open. It'll be coming on a little after 2:30. This right here is part of the morals and values of TF Crew, and I applaud Angel for getting this together, but, I also had a hand in this because, again, he may be running the show, but, Daddy's the promoter here. And first ever women's match. We've had intergender matches. First ever women's match in TF Crew history. And I wanted to give it to two super hardworking people that absolutely deserve the opportunity. Fran was actually at the last TF Crew event helping sell some Cheney merch at the last event. Fran is such a badass, such a hard worker. I got to wrestle Fran for the GTS Hardcore Championship. What an honor and opportunity it was. Fran is a badass in and out of the ring. Absolutely deserves every opportunity she gets. Also, what a great person as well. And listen, Emily Saxton may be an extremely annoying Karen. I hear it. Oh my God, trust me, I hear it.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, one thing that I will say that nobody can take away from Emily Saxton is that Emily Saxton is working her ass off right now to get better, improve, get herself out there. And for that fits the values, the morals, and the alignment of what the TF Crew is. We want people who are wanting to work hard and push themselves to get to bigger and better places. Well, here it is. You have an opportunity to make history in the TF Crew and be the first ever women's match. So they already have a rivalry spanning from GTS. Now it comes to the TF crew. I believe this is their third or fourth match against each other, and I'm here for it.
Oh, that's
Franchini
great.
versus
No, I like
Endless
the
Axe.
familiarity. I think it's
Mhm.
a great opportunity here, a big crowd. I think
We're
it's
hoping.
going to be well. I think it is going to be a big crowd. I'm taking the high road here. We're gonna do a great job here, and I know somebody's here in the chat that I was speaking to about you that is very confident that you guys will draw a big crowd. So we know that's going to happen, and I assure everybody that they should hit the sub button for the TF crew if they haven't yet. You need to tell everybody else also to do that. That's your friends and family, and please support all the great wrestlers. They were very honored to be a sponsor of the show. And let's come back to Angel and Cheeseburger, because you said a lot about Cheeseburger, and I do agree with you. He's definitely not working here for a cheeseburger. He's definitely not working here for a hot dog and a handshake, but he is here, and this man's resume speaks for itself. And I want to come back to you on this, because Angel and I were talking a lot about legacies, and Angel has a run that when we look back, it doesn't matter if it's backyard, underground, independent, pro wrestling, he is closing in on that 1,000 day milestone. And I know it hurts you to hear that, as the 1,000 days as the TF Crew World YouTube Champion. And if he gets past Cheeseburger, he will clear that milestone. And I think this is about legacies here right now. This is about Angel's legacy. Last time Angel was here in the lead up to his match with Rad, it was about Rad. Rad having the opportunity to be the GBYWN champion and the TF Crew World YouTube champion. He was the GTS Legacy and the Intercontinental champion before, and he was able to do things to unite every company that he worked with. But now Angel cleared that hurdle. Now it's about his legacy, and beating a man like Cheeseburger, that will put Angel further into the stratosphere. And we talked about the opportunities that Angel could have, Gabe Sayers, if he defeats Cheeseburger this Sunday. We could be talking about Impact Wrestling guys coming into TF Crew to challenge Angel. We could be talking about, who knows, more AEW guys or even ex-WWE wrestlers out there. That's what's at stake here. This is not just about the TF Crew World YouTube Championship. This is now about Angel Santiago's legacy and having the opportunity to now be 1,000 days as the TF Crew World YouTube Champion. Your thoughts?
Frankly, Angel Santiago's resume, career, legacy. You want to know what it means to me? I actually,
Yeah, I want to hear
I won't even show you. I'll just tell you right now. I'm scratching my nuts, and that's what I think about it. Right? It doesn't mean shit to me. I think that, you know what, this is a great opportunity for the legacy of the TF Crew World YouTube Championship, to say that it has been competed for and possibly held by someone like Cheeseburger. Cheeseburger, I mean, again, I was joking that Cheeseburger is expensive, but I'm not paying it. I don't care. Cheeseburger is a badass. Cheeseburger is awesome. Been around the globe.
New
Wrestled some of the
Japan,
best.
Ring of Honor. I mean, his resume speaks for his own
Yeah, and he's
dojo, trained
also
wrestler.
just a
Definitely.
cool dude, right? Just like a super great dude, funny, entertaining. I can't wait to have Cheeseburger in TF Crew. And you know what?
What?
Fuck Angel's legacy. Let's talk about underground wrestling for a second, right?
All right, I'm here for it.
Bringing in a name like Cheeseburger into a company that represents the underground so vividly, like TF Crew does,
Yeah.
is a huge push in the right direction for this underground community, because we are showing that it's not just Joe Schmo and Jimmy Tickles in a backyard playing twinkle dicks, right? We
Yeah.
have wrestlers that have been on TV, maybe are still are on TV, competing against other wrestlers that are well known in this underground community, because we are rebuilding the idea and the thought process behind this community. We are all about pushing for the better of professional wrestling as a whole. Cheeseburger is somebody that not only believed enough in us, but believed enough in that message that he's now coming here to the TF Crew and competing for the TF Crew World YouTube Championship. The same TF Crew World YouTube Championship that's been competed for by guys like Mikey Anarchy, who's an underground darling, to say, an underground pillar, you could say,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah. Mike Anarchy's a fantastic talent. He's been on here. Absolutely.
Leonidas has competed for the belt before, right? Hunter Funk has competed for the belt before, right? Now you're adding a name like Cheeseburger to that list as you legitimize everybody that's ever even competed for the belt or had a sniffing shot at the belt. And I think that's the beauty of it. And I think that Cheeseburger is just the start. right? When people are saying, "Whoa, Angel Face cheese, whoa, TF Crew got cheeseburger, whoa, that's big and great." But once you get past the fact of how big and great that is, you realize, wow, these guys are legit. They are doing something big. They are really pushing and making a name for themselves, not only in the Connecticut scene, but in this Northeast scene. And
Yeah.
not only that, but they're out here bettering the community with doing things like this. Now, the underground is seeing now names that are used to be on TV, still on TV, coming around, and it should be inspiring to every company that these are all attainable things, right? When we first started TF Crew and we were in a backyard and we got shut down our show halfway through and I lost a bunch of money and I was real sad. Did anybody expect that Cheeseburger would be on one of our shows 3 years later? I
No.
don't think so.
No.
I don't think so, but that's the beauty of it. And this is just opening the door for bigger and bigger talent to be coming through. And you know what that does for the rest of the roster? Because I've heard the concerns. I've heard the concerns of, well, if you're going to bring in all these big talents, where does that leave your roster? That's a good question. Where does that leave them? And so this is a message to everyone in the underground, to everybody on the TF Crew roster. Where does that leave you? You should think deeply about your spot, because if you're so scared that a big name is going to take your spot, maybe you're not very secure within your spot. Maybe you should do a little bit of self-evaluating of what you want in this world.
But
I say that.
But this is Angel's legacy, though. I mean,
fuck Angel's legacy. This is bigger than just that Puerto Rican unwashed bitch, right? This is about the entire company as a whole, right here.
Okay.
Hot take: when Cheeseburger knocks his belt right off Angel and holds the TF Crew World YouTube Championship, the legacy that creates for not only the TF Crew, but for everybody in the underground community goes way bigger than some unwashed jackass pretending to run a show, right?
That's a good point. Conversely, I understand what you're saying in a different way. That, well, what if Cheeseburger is the TF Crew World YouTube Champion, a man with his resume, a man with his following, and what would that do? That's an interesting point. I hadn't thought of it in that way, and that's a point that's a reason why people need to go out and watch the show, and that's another good point. And speaking of people that I do have to talk about, that also, what a small world wrestling is. You know, you and I were talking about this off the air, and I'm going to say it, full disclosure, Angel and I were talking about this off the air, because there's a guy that you, Caster, and Angel wrestled in Pure Vanguard Wrestling that is now on your show coming up here, who 5 years ago, that's right, 5 years ago, I had actually talked quite a bit about, because he was kind of starting out here in the wrestling world for a company called Pro Wrestling Magic. I was talking with a guy, Steve Off, who now is the owner of Pro Wrestling Magic. You have him here coming up this Sunday against another guy that is a big talent. This is a really, really exciting match, and I'm talking about Wrecking Ball Legursky, and he takes on Corey Duke. And Gabe, what a small world. There are probably people here in this chat 5 years ago, maybe with the exception of I want to say, Ox McCoy, maybe Torrance Banks if he was here, that weren't even wrestling. And here I was talking about, and I never forget the day, I was talking about Wrecking Ball Legursky and Pro Wrestling Magic 5 years ago. 5 years later, Gabe Sayers, you have a wrestling company. You're promoting a show where this man, Wrecking Ball Legursky, who's also been a little old company called the NWA, and another feather under the notch of your cap and everybody else here in TF Crew, and he's wrestling another hell of a talent in Corey Duke. You got to talk about this.
This is why the TF Crew exists. We are not only creating just crazy matchups and bringing in crazy, awesome, big names, right? But we are using these people to help showcase our amazing talent. Listen, do I think Corey Duke comes out of this match breathing? Yes. Winning? No. Right. I wrestled Wrecking Ball for.
I know. Right? I showed the match on Monday.
So I get it, and I've played the games before. Like I said, Corey Duke will be alive probably. Winning? No. There's not a fucking shot in God's green earth that Corey Duke wins this match against Wrecking Ball, because look at him.
I know. Wrecking Ball, listen, he has quite a resume. This man, I mean, I remember him 5 years ago. What he's done since then is just tenfold. I mean, just.
Exactly. But that's part of that. That's what we're doing for this underground scene. That now we're building these bridges and these links and these guys, these great up-and-comers beyond just Corey Duke. Let's look at Cass. Let's look at Christopher Black. Let's look at Leonidas. all of these guys now have an opportunity to face a Wrecking Ball, a guy that's been on NWA, a guy that's toured damn near every Northeast indie that there is, a former NEW,
Yep.
NEW that used to have Hardys and all the
Yep.
all the good stuff.
Yep.
Former world heavyweight champion there. Right, Wrecking Ball is obviously a monster and a machine, but he's also an amazing opportunity for every single wrestler that steps in the ring with him, because you'll learn something. You may learn that it hurts to get crushed by a 400-pound man, but I train with Mikey Anarchy all the time, so I already knew that. The point is that Wrecking Ball is going to bring out a different side of the TF crew, and I'm so excited for it, because you can't bring your A game against Wrecking Ball, right? You just have to go in with every ounce of heart, determination that you have to hope that you can survive against Wrecking Ball. But that teaches you something, and that makes you better. That's going to make the TF crew better. That's going to make the underground scene better, and everybody wins. Wrecking Ball versus Corey Duke. I'm so happy for Corey Duke. I love Corey Duke. He's my favorite half-naked cowboy that I could think of off the top of my head. And what an opportunity for Corey Duke. Definitely someone who also deserves such an opportunity like this. And we felt so strongly that he deserved this opportunity that he's actually making his TF crew debut here in this match. Wrecking Ball versus Corey Duke is going to be an absolute blast. I'm so excited. I'm not paying Corey Duke's hospital bills after. Throw that out there. Love you, Corey, but you're a half-naked cowboy. Start an OnlyFans or something. You know what I mean? You can get it done.
Well, that reminds me of the naked cowboy in Times Square that everybody used to talk about, and
it's Corey. You didn't know that?
Well, not quite, but I know what you're saying. We'll move on. And speaking of people that have been big topics, you mentioned Jake earlier, and he cut a promo yesterday I saw about this. And the man that's in the chat, Caster, who I hope to see back on Sportswire very soon. I think we will. And Be Insane. I mean, just what do you think happened here? Because, Angel, as I'm sure you were certainly aware of, said that Doc Holliday is not wrestling on Sunday's show. Now, Doc said on Monday's show that he will be in the building and he'll have a ticket, but who really knows there with Doc? And we'll get to why you and him may have shared some, let's say, Instagram followers. But what do you think happens here? Because the winner of this will get a shot at Doc's championship. Jake said that he will get that championship. Caster's, I think, another rising talent. We've talked a lot about him in the past. He's been here, and Be Insane. Well, this man, I wouldn't mess with him either. I mean, what do you think happens here in the Tomorrow's End Gauntlet?
Tomorrow's End Gauntlet is another scheme for Angel to just be scummy and nasty and unwashed, because that's what Angel Santiago is. This right here is an opportunity for Angel to screw Caster, right? Tease Caster with the opportunity at something like the Tomorrow's End Championship #1 contendership, but throw absolutely fantastic wrestlers in his way. That's not a knock against Caster. That is just I have to do service to how great of a wrestler that someone like Jake Dvorak is, right?
Yeah.
The Cambodian Nightmare, me and him had our differences, and we've also frankly shared a lot of similar things.
Absolutely.
The Cambodian Nightmare is a nightmare for a reason, right? Absolute powerhouse, absolutely fantastic wrestler, and obviously there's more people in this gauntlet,
yes.
Right? So that then creates the issue of, we all know that Angel's probably going to make Caster go out there super early in the gauntlet, have to survive against some of the best talent in the TF crew and underground scene. And is it fair? Absolutely not. But you know what? I mean, I think that as someone who had to take his licks a lot early in his professional wrestling career, I think back to my 3-match series with Mikey Anarchy, where he poked and prodded every area that you could humanly think to poke and prod on a human with a sharp piece of glass or something. That at the end of the day, this will make Caster better, but it is not a fair opportunity for Caster. I'm absolutely there. This is not what should have been Caster's match on this show. It shows the corruption that Angel has and how he's a salty little bitch and everything. But I'm happy.
But this does, to be fair, to this also stems because of what happened after Angel's match with Rad, and one of the guys that came out was Caster, who made the save, and Doc obviously was a part of that. Doc also talked a lot about on commentary his history with Rad. So the guys that came out to break up the syndicate, and Christopher Black, we know what he did, where he did the right thing. He decided he didn't want any part of that assault on Rad, and those were the guys that got punished, and Angel's in control, and that's what he decided to do.
I think that also shows how much of a coward Angel is by not booking a Christopher Black, not booking a Doc Holliday. Listen, Doc Holliday said he's going to buy a ticket. I don't think Doc Holliday can afford a ticket. But
You said that. Not me.
I think that Doc Holliday is going to find his way to the building. Are you kidding? Come on, man. I love the Lincoln Room, right? And I think it's a great
Yes.
venue for us in Bristol, Connecticut. It's cool.
2:30 p.m. The doors open. Get there really by 2. Bell time's 3 o'clock. You got to be the ESPN might be the home of Bristol, but now it's the TF Crew.
Yep, and it's a great spot, right?
Absolutely.
Man, I was talking to fans last show that like found ways to get in and didn't pay for a ticket and stuff. And if Joe Schmo and Jimmy Tickles can find a way into this damn building, come on, Doc Holliday's gonna get his ass in this building. And you know the best part about being on Doc Holliday's good side is he ain't gonna be coming for me. So I'm good. I'm safe. You know what I mean? I know Doc's gonna get in here, and I hope he gets his hands on Angel. But
I see that. No, I see you're upset, and we do want to plug one more match before I get to the chat because I know a lot of people want to talk to us. I want to give the TF Crew something, and I do want to promote again here coming up that the show takes place this Sunday. It's at the Lincoln Room in beautiful Bristol, Connecticut. It is only $15. Listen, let me tell you something. I went out to dinner here last Friday and spent 3 times that much. So you can go out here for 3 times less the price and go out and watch some tremendous pro wrestling talent, some up-and-comers, some great people we've talked about on this platform for many years. Also, some guys like Cheeseburger, Wrecking Ball Legursky, and certainly Rad Dad, Mark DeShuck, a lot of other talents. Tony, I'm going to get to him next. I mean, going to go out there and please support the TF Crew. Please. I can't stress enough the importance of supporting wrestling shows out there because that's how we give people an opportunity to grow and thrive. So it doesn't matter what type of wrestling you like or what form. Please go out there and support all the wrestling companies. And the TF Crew is giving wrestlers and fans an opportunity to live out their dreams. So please support the companies. I can't stress enough. And speaking of the Cheenies, that was the last match I wanted to get to. And what on earth do you expect here?
Wow. You know, the Cheenies are good people, and you know they must be good enough people.
I know Tony a little bit. Yeah.
They haven't pissed off Angel, so Angel didn't give. I think this is honestly, like, I don't know who the mystery is. I'm assuming it's not going to be Kuma again, seeing as that obviously didn't go their way.
Yeah, that was last show. I don't know if that's going to certainly work out.
Something tells me it won't be Kuma this time, but Bloodsaw and a mystery partner versus the Cheenies does have every good reason to be a fantastic match. I mean, I mean with this with all due respect, I think Bloodsaw could pick a broomstick and it'd still be a fantastic match. Bloodsaw is that good. The Cheenies are that good. The Cheenies are also beloved in Connecticut. Do you know how many people came up to me after the show and was like, I love the Italian people. They're so great. And I'm like,
Connecticut has a lot of Italians. You know that. Connecticut is, listen, I have family in Connecticut. There's still a strong heritage of Italians in Connecticut. That always was.
They must have tickled something in those Italians because I had so many people. Oh my God, the Italian! I even had female fans being like, the iced tea Italian was hot, and I'm like, why are you telling me this? Like, the Cheenies are fantastic performers. We've seen it in GTS, we've seen it in TF Crew. Yes, awesome,
absolutely.
And Bloodsaw could pick anybody in this match is going to be amazing. And I also really think that Bloodsaw not picking his partner until the match begins is going to also be a strategic point for him because the Cheenies are smart, especially Tony Cheney. That's a veteran right there. He's a guy that likes to study up on his opponent, learn about who he's wrestling, and kind of figure out how he's going to win the match from there. And if Bloodsaw is not picking his opponent until the minute of the match, there's no way to prepare for that. How do you prepare when he could pick Wrecking Ball for another match? Bloodsaw and Wrecking Ball know each other very well.
Yeah, that's a great point. We talk about this all the time on Sportswire. When you can't prepare for your opponent, it doesn't matter what research you do because you can't do any.
Right. He could pick Johnny Velocity from ROEW, right? Like, we have no clue. He could pick Torrance Banks. He could pick Ox McCoy. He could ask me. I'd probably say no. But I'd be pretty cool if he asked me. I mean, he could pick anybody. He could pick a fan out of the crowd. Like, you just don't know. He could pick Grimm, right? Like, the opportunities are genuinely endless. And that is.
But not Kuma. You don't think Kuma.
I would say my money's not on Kuma.
Not after last time, yeah.
I would say there's a better chance of Omen Black getting picked or even Sean Jovi getting picked over Kuma.
They're here in the chat. I mean, I'm going to get to them. They're all waiting to talk to you. No, I got that. I mean, we're going to give them that opportunity. I promise. But I think it's an interesting match. Still, listen, I really am excited about this card. I know I've said this a bunch of times over the years with you guys, but I really think this card is just a culmination of what you guys have done here these last few years, which is why I'm really excited to be a sponsor. And I one more time really want to encourage people to please hit the sub button for the TF Crew. Please follow them on Instagram. Please check them out. And if you are in the area nearby in Bristol, please go out there and buy a ticket. It's only $15. I cannot stress enough the importance of going out there and supporting wrestling companies. It doesn't matter where they wrestle and what type of, if it's family friendly, if it's underground, if it's a little mixture of both or whatever you like, pro wrestling, backyard, underground, please support these companies. They're giving people an opportunity, and that's what it's about, to give people an opportunity to live their dreams and to give our wrestling fans and our wrestlers that opportunity to network. So we're here with Gabe Sayers. I'm going to get to the chat because I got to plug a few more things with the TF Crew, and the champ is getting out his belts. Well, at least I'm not bringing up his Washington Commanders. But
All right, Tom. You always had to hit a low blow, didn't you?
Listen, I got to be honest with you. I'm in New York, and I don't claim the Jets and Giants, if it makes you feel better. I always tell people they play New Jersey.
We sweep the Giants, at least.
The Giants are just...
We sweep those.
Listen, I always tell people I don't even claim them, but we'll get to other people. Speaking of people that haven't met you before, but have seen you here in the past, is the one and only Chase Wakefield. This guy has become one of my favorites in the scene. Keep killing it, brother. Thank you, Chase. Chase has had his own super show that we hope to see out there. I do want to say hello to my friend who's a big fan of yours, Gabe. Thinks you're very sexy. Anastasia Rasinia, all the way out there in California, who said we're a big fan of yours. She had to leave, and I told her that you said hi. We'll move on. We'll get to her comment later. Zilla's here first. Thank you, Zilla, right after Chase. That is coming down the stretch. And the man that you will be facing coming up here 2 weeks from this weekend is the one and only Ox McCoy, who wants a championship you have right now. Yes, he certainly wants it, and he did want to say hello, and thank you, Ox. And Ox has been very excited about you coming on, and we'll get to some more comments. Camo Cam is back. Camo, you certainly know. You certainly know from the IMF. Okay. We're going to get to the IMF on the other side of the break. And speaking of people I do want to one more time give my thoughts and prayers to is Varel Crowley. Varel Crowley, for those that don't know, her grandfather had passed away earlier this week, and was Virgil Witt Sr., and a man that was a pillar of the community here in Iowa, and he was a strong supporter of the sports community. He was also a man very involved in the church, and he gave his life to his community and his family, and we had the pleasure to actually put Virgil in the Hall of Fame, and I did want to show that on the screen. We gave that to certainly Varel and her family, and I just want to continue to keep our thoughts and prayers to the Crowley family and Varel Crowley. Her grandfather, Virgil Witt Sr., had passed away at the age of 84, and I had read a little bit about him, and just a great man who did a lot for the community. I know Varel has been at ringside for you, and I'm sure she'll be at ringside here coming up 2 weekends from now, and definitely we want to thank Virgil for his commitment to the community in Iowa, and we want to keep Varel in our thoughts and prayers. And hello, Ox. And speaking of people that are excited to see you, it is Sean Jovi. Sean Jovi, the resident rock star. Yes, he's excited to see you. He's a big fan of yours, and a man that was the first backyard wrestler that I had interviewed almost 4 years ago now. Thank you, Zilla. Yes, Camo Cam, hello. Camo says formally hello to you. And there you go. Sean Jovi loves Gabe Sayers, and a lot of people do, I could see by tonight's chat. And he also wanted to say, this might be certainly a lot of more information that I've needed to know. I divorced Ricky Romero for a chance instantly. We'll move on. It hurts knowing how far away my title is right now. Yes, it is far. Connecticut to Iowa is a very, very long journey, but at least it's in good hands. He'd never let anyone else touch that championship. Well, that is true. That is true after what we're watching right now.
I like the girls that I'm smashing wear it, but that's about it, Ox. Don't worry.
Well, Anastasia might have wanted to see that championship too. Shout out to Anastasia. Don't say hi to me. Yeah, Sean Jovi and Camo Cam, as you know, have their own issues. Well, thank you, Ox. I appreciate your map, Gabe. It makes you seem like a world champion. Yeah, you are. You know, Rad had talked about this on one episode on Sportswire. You seem to have been traveling at least the United States in different places. You've been to, the South, the Midwest, the Northeast, the Mid-Atlantic. So you definitely have, gotten around a bit in the United States. So to be fair, Jovi's got a point.
You see every pin, and you can. I know it's a little blurry.
I see them. I can see them.
Every pin is a place that we've been. I almost actually. This is really random. This is before I was really much of a wrestler. A couple years ago, I was in South Africa, and I had a company reach out to me wrestle while I was in South Africa,
Okay.
and I say no because I was at that point like I was greener than baby shit, and I would have gone out there and just embarrassed myself in my country, and I was like, you know what? We're gonna save ourselves the. Now, if I went out there again, oh, what a heartbeat! I'm kicking some South African ass. Oh yeah, be on the watch out. International Gabe Sayers got to be coming sooner rather than later.
You know what? Listen, I mean, I've had a lot of international people come on over the years, so I wouldn't be surprised. But speaking of people who are not happy with you tonight, there he is, the TF2 World YouTube Champion, Angel Santiago, who I thought would be busy tonight because he did say he wasn't going to be here in the chat, but he is
unshowered prince, as we like to call him.
I wouldn't know. You've obviously shared a locker room with him and wrestled Wrecking Ball Legursky with him, although he did leave you guys high and dry. So I will say that.
Dry. Maybe go get an early shower. Can you, Tom? For the rest of the show, can you call him the unshowered prince?
I'm not going to do that, but I will certainly allow you to do that because I wouldn't be able to comment on those things. I would hope not. And Gabe is
talking about his pubes again. How good!
I can't do that. I can't do that because then I'm going to certainly get taken off the air. But you can do it though. You're a guest. Gabe is juicing confirmed. I mean, listen, maybe it could help the Jets and Giants perform a little better because they certainly need that. But we'll leave that at that. They play in New Jersey. Back off, Daddy. He's mine. Speaking of Torrance Banks, Torrance is in the house, obviously from the great state of New York, the Empire State. He'll be watching the Buffalo Bills, but he wanted to say hello. Thank you, Torrance. Happy New Year. Good to see Torrance. Hello, hello. Who else is in the house? Tell me Ox McCoy is here because if so, what's up, Ox? There it is. He is here. And yes, Ox is here. And Gabe show up to 3BW with me. I mean, who knows? Sean Joby did talk about that, by the way. He talked about he's coming to the Northeast here later this spring, and he certainly zeroed in on this guy who we talked about quite a bit in Rad Dad. What do you think about that?
I'm just saying, 3BW. I've talked to the owner. I can reveal that I've talked to the owner.
Yeah. And don't reveal anything else. Please don't.
I can reveal that I like to make opportunities happen.
Okay, well, that's a good idea. That's great. We appreciate that. What's good? Who else? We've got some more comments. How's wrestling? Well, we're doing great right now. And my former employer is calling me Steven Saperstein. Steve, I'm on Sportswire. I'm tempted to take the call right now for the chat. I don't know if I should do that. If the chat wants it, let me know. I think let's not do it. Let's not do it.
If he can give me a new job, I'm tired of my.
No, he has family. He has family who are real estate developers. But let's not reveal those ties here.
I'm more communication. If he can grab me a little HR, social media job.
Steve would freak out. He would flip out and crap in his pants. Kind of like what you say about Angel Santiago would be Saperstein right now. We'll not do that.
Prince. Yeah.
No, he would crap in his pants if I actually took the call. I'd mark out if you defended the All Wrestling Matters Championship at a GBYWM reunion show. We talked about that earlier.
I like making people work out.
Let's go to some more comments. Hello from the owner of the PWF, a championship you do not claim, but you did defeat the PWF champion, Felix Jones, to win the All Wrestling Matters Championship. That is obviously Shane M, who did want to say hello. Thank you, Shane, for tuning in. Also, we'd love to see that there it goes. Thank you, Shane, and we will certainly have more coverage coming up. I need to get out of the East Coast, but I'm deathly afraid of falling. I have to admit, I am in the same boat. I am in the same boat. I flew once, and I did fly once years ago when my family went on a vacation to Florida, and on the way back, the plane didn't land for 3 hours. It just kept circling and circling, and since that day, I won't fly. It's just, unfortunately, I'm like terrified. I really thought I was going to die that day, and I will not fly since. We're talking years.
Tom.
Yes.
That I don't know if you knew, but I am planning and putting some things together. Something that could be dubbed an underground cup. Putting.
I honestly didn't know. I had no idea.
I haven't made any announcements about it or anything crazy, but I've been putting little words into people's ears about an underground cup and bringing some new people to the Northeast. And I think we have to make Ox McCoy get over that fear of flying. I think you'd agree with me on that.
I would love to see it, but I understand him when it comes to the fear of flying. I really actually do understand him on that. So we'll see. I would love to see a underground cup. That's a great idea because I had not heard that before. No, seriously, I had no idea that you had thought about that. And I think that would be an interesting concept. And he does want to get down to Texas. Yeah, that Texas is an interesting place. My friend actually just came back from Texas. My buddy Joe Roses went from Brooklyn to Houston. He loved Texas. He loved the food, by the way. But we'll not talk about the food because then Joe will want to eat more food. Me too, Ox, but a potential shot at Rad that is worth the risk. And Ox McCoy East Coast tour would be dope. Absolutely agreed.
There you go.
Oh, by the way, let me give a big plug to somebody, and that's a guy, Rick Del Santo. Why is Rick important? Because Rick is very important when it comes to places like Pure Vanguard Wrestling, PAPW. And
Yep.
he's one of those guys that is really at the fabric of why we love wrestling. And he has done a lot. And what a small world it is, Gabe, because I was talking with Rick, and I've known Rick. He knows some of the people that come on here in the WVWF, like Miss Courtney Wood. And, we were talking about some different things. And, he had followed me on TikTok. He's also interviewed some different people. Sick Boy, I think he had interviewed Jumpin' Jim Brunzell. And, I've interviewed some of those names. And he was really impressed with what you've done in the TF crew. And he's going to be showing up to the show you guys are putting on in Milford, Connecticut, the Milford Mall, which is another show I'm sponsoring. And I want to give some praise to Rick.
I love Rick. Rick's a great guy. Rick's been to the TF crew before. He's going to be back. Love Rick. Great mind for the business. Great guy helping uplift, younger and newer talent, which is
very.
Love Rick. Good dude.
Yes, and he said you guys are great networkers. He doesn't understand much of the backyard wrestling, and I just told him long story, and we'll move on. But Rick loves you guys, loves what you bring to the table, and I couldn't agree more. Thank you, Shane, and we need a Shockey house party too, and that would be a great idea. I mean, I hope someone can find the venue if I feel another house party needs to happen. Absolutely.
Yeah, can we get a house party where like the spot where the ring is, where like the roof isn't almost hitting me in the head? Like I'm 6'2". I couldn't jump in that ring.
You are tall because I've met you. You make me look
small. I couldn't jump in that damn ring. So I can't give a suplex. I can't do any of my jumping moves. I'm like, man, the fuck is this? Are we like vertically discriminating now? Like Shockey's House Party 2 needs to have a little bit of a higher ceiling, please. Just throwing that out there.
Well, we have to find out. Hopefully they'll have it again, and that's a great point. And I agree with Torrance. Yes, and hi, Shane. How is a flag that represents Let's Go Pillars? Great chemistry between both those guys. Absolutely. Please hit the sub button for the TF crew. I would really encourage you to do that. Like I said, Anastasia is a big fan of yours, and she was shy, but really wanted to say that you were the sexy person. Just saying. She signed off, but she did want to point that out. Thank you, Anastasia. Ox Rush. Well, we have fans out there in different places. Ox is treating me great. Here to talk business with a boss to come to the PWF in Iowa. Who knows? He may have ability for IMF. I'm going to get to the IMF shortly. Rush, I love your vodka. I was just in a Zoom and they were talking about Stoli and some of the other Russian vodkas.
Stoli!
Yeah. Jimmy Tickles in the backyard is a legend, though. I mean,
Jimmy Tickles.
Well, I mean, maybe the next Copper Dragon video will have a Jimmy Tickles match. I just watched the one in NCW, which was very good, but who knows? Not my vodka, Ox. I'm just here for business and unwashed. We're going to leave that at that. We are not going to repeat that comment. I was in Parade Magazine last weekend. Please, just like some people in the IMF group on Facebook wanted me to bring on a certain wrestler that we shall not be named. And I'm like, no, we're in the mainstream media. I got a question for Gabe, though. Tuna casserole. Am I right? Now, that's an interesting segue because I do have to plug Gabe. You are a worldwide sensation, not just in wrestling, but on social media, because I understand you have a Instagram reel that wound up getting 186,000 views and 52,000 likes. You may want to talk about how you became a worldwide sensation.
Yeah, I'll brag for a second. I appreciate that. So that video actually did about 560K right there, which is awesome, 500,000. And then I actually posted a trial reel, which has not popped up on my main profile yet, but I will put it on my main profile soon. But a trial reel is just something that only goes to non-followers. And I uploaded a trial reel of the same bit from this video that ended up doing 2.3 million views.
You showed me off the air. You were like, "This is what it really got," and I was like, "Wow, that's even more than my guest that came on here earlier today, which we taped for the band Tail Gunner, which has a video with 800,000 views, and then Gus G, who played for Ozzy Osbourne out of Ozzy. I don't even think he hit that many views yet, so that's impressive.
I think I have to give credit where credit's due. I have a great editor. And I also think I have two really great friends that are willing to eat my shitty white people food. And I've never
ate tuna casserole, though. I got to be honest. I never had it before.
You ain't white
tuna.
enough. You ain't white enough.
I have more. Yeah, I
Sorry.
know that. I know that. Listen, that I know. I got that, but I mean, I've had tuna. I had tuna fish once when I was 7. I never forget in Brooklyn. We were kind of poor in that time. Now definitely we can afford a $500 steak, but in those days, remember one time my dad's like, "You got to have a tuna sandwich," and I had it. And it was the worst thing I ever had in my life. So anything with tuna, and we have Hubie Jenkins from the EWA, who's all about the tuna dogs, and you had tuna casserole. But lucky for you, you went viral. But who knows?
This video is all about breaking some racial barriers, and you know what? Sometimes you gotta let your white homies. I'm a mayo roach. I'll admit it. And you gotta let your white homies cook for your black homies, and that's what it was. You know what I mean? I was putting my black homies on this a little cracker culture, as I like to call it. And my cracker culture was tuna casserole, because that was a staple of my childhood. So
wow,
made a tuna casserole for them, and they were not happy about the seasoning level. But once they got the seasoning, they were happy, and they said it was edible. And that's what it's all about, baby. We don't care what color you are. We just want to film you eating my tuna casserole so I can get views. You know what I mean?
No, I got that, but I'm happy that you guys got the views. But I'm definitely not having tuna casserole. That's for sure. And thank you, Caster, for giving us some levity here on Sportswire. Yeah, that's certainly the case. We appreciate that honesty there. Let's get to some more comments here. Yeah, that is definitely some stuff there. It will be a banger, though. Yeah, there's a lot of bangers coming up here for the TF crew. But did that Goya make it better? Well, we'll leave that at that. Thank you.
Probably.
Goya won the battle. My toilet suffered from the war. That's a great way to sum that up. I would absolutely say that's why we will see Caster on here very soon on Sportswire, and hopefully we'll not talk about tuna casserole, because we're not having tuna. Listen, Hubie Jenkins. I gotta tell you why. Hubie Jenkins of the EWA with his tuna dogs, you and the tuna casseroles. I can't do it. There's no tuna. When I was 7, we talked about flying, right? I will not fly after what happened all those years ago. The one time we went on a family vacation, the plane wouldn't land. When I was 7, the tuna sandwich was the worst thing. I could still smell it from a mile away. No tuna on Sportswire, please. I did sponsor the show. If you need a few dollars, I will buy you a better sandwich than tuna. Let's go here. Let's seriously.
You drive a hard bargain.
And I've had on the millionaires that have come on here. You want me to bum them for $10? Gus G played for Ozzy. I'm sure he's in Ozzy's will. I mean, we can find a way to get you guys not to have tuna casserole. Actually, Gus is definitely not in Ozzy's will, but the point is he played for Ozzy. I'm sure he can spare a few bucks.
Tom, for you, Tom, next video of cooking white people food for my black friends, I'll make sure it's not tuna. Just for you.
Well, you
Tom.
can do it because you got 580-something thousand views, but I'm just not going to have
sponsor.
Not on your Instagram. Just TF Crew.
I'm the owner of TF Crew. It all connects.
No, stop. Listen, let's
no tuna, Tom. Just for you.
Well, there you go. No, you can do whatever you want. We love you and keep doing what you're doing because you're obviously getting the views. Hubie needs to give Gabe a tuna dog recipe. I would hope not. Tuna, yeah, great point, because I'm completely confused on it.
Damn.
But please hit the sub button. Well, I don't know about that. No tuna.
Big boy.
No tuna. Yes, please, no tuna. Thank you, Caster, for adding levity. No tuna. Yeah, I never got the tuna vibe. 1 pound flesh, I think he meant, right? Love to see fish, but yeah, it's just spelled wrong. Yeah, I would love to see Johnny and TF Crew, but Johnny's career is coming to an end. We don't know where Johnny's going next. And thank you. There is Omen Black. Omen is here.
Omen.
He said hello. Velocity versus Sean Jovi could still happen. Yes. Omen and TF Crew would be very interesting. Well, we'll have to find out where and what's going to happen. He is a free agent, and I'm sure that could be something we'll talk about soon on Sportswire. How has he been? How's free agency treating you? Sending my prayers and condolences to the Varel Crowley family. Thank you. Thank you, Zilla, for adding some levity here, and we appreciate that very much. We're very sad that Omen Black is not wrestling in IMF. I agree with you on that. And Andrew Lovelace, another guy that you could defend the All Wrestling Matters Championship in from the great state of Pennsylvania and other places, was definitely interested in your All Wrestling Matters Championship. It was here, I think, right after Mon Valley's show on Sunday. Copper Dragon, speaking of the good doctor, like Doc Gooden, the good Copper Dragon is in the house. Good to see you, Gabe. Yes,
I love the dragon.
I love Copper Dragon. I'm a sponsor of all of his stuff each month. I pay the $5 a month. We love Copper. Thank you, Copper, for being here. Cup, you say Underground Cup. That got Andrew Lovelace talking.
Oh, Tom, you pay for that? You pay for the Patreon?
$5 a month. Yeah, I pay for it.
And then you do some politics, so you'll be able to help me out with it.
No, I don't do the politics, but I love you a match like to talk about. I mean,
can you politic something for me, Tom? I need to hit a 7-star match. I've gotten 6.8 twice, Tom.
I can't.
6.8.
Johnny, well, you know, I have a way you can politic that. Johnny Velocity's here. He's gotten the 7 stars with him and CJ Black. You could talk to Johnny about how to get the 7 stars because he's gotten a 7-star match.
I don't need to talk to no Johnny fucking Velocity and their fucking pre-taped dick eating. No, I think I did the research. I have the highest rated live. You know what live means? Paying fans. I have the highest rated live match in his history, which is fire. But Daddy wants a 7-star match. Well, 6.8 twice.
Mr. Dragon is here. He is here. He is listening to this, and I would love to see him back on. And speaking of people that heard about Underground Cup and your championships, Daniel Tafura, the USWA Universal Champion and the WWF Hybrid Champion who wants to win a 3rd championship like you this coming weekend. He wants the WWF King of the Mountain Championship, and he wanted to say hello, and he heard about your championships, and everybody seems to have heard about them. Thank you, and yes, and hopefully we'll see you here on Sportswire. And ready for the 24th. We're going to talk about that next. Thank you for that. We're going to talk about that next. And the tuna fish, tuna fish sandwiches. Some people like them. You know, look, I mean, my dad did like tuna sandwiches when he was alive. So you got to be like talking to him more than me at this point, Gabe. So, you know, maybe that'll, help. But also, I am Samoan, and I've had it. You got to make it right. It's all about the texture and the right ingredients. So, Daniel Tafura likes tuna fish. He likes tuna, so somebody likes it out there. What can I say? There are tuna fans. Listen, growing up, I wasn't having tuna, but you have the hardcore championship. Omen accomplished his goal in IMF, and there's no point in staying. I'm sure we'll talk about that very soon on Sportswire. Kept in the back. You know, I never thought on Sportswire an episode with Gabe Sayers would turn into tuna talk, but hey, it's I blame Hubie Jenkins because Hubie Jenkins came up with the tuna dog, and he made a short of it on YouTube. You made a tuna casserole, which hit over 500,000 views, and now it seems like the chat is almost doing their own version of the wave and talking about tuna. I will not though have tuna. I can assure you of that. That's for sure. But you can have it, Gabe. And in the words of Tommy Dreamer, who Jimmy Controversy wrestled, you could say, "May I have another reel that hits 500,000 views?"
Please.
Yes, hello to Daniel Tafura. Yes, and hello, Zilla. Thank you for the kind words. Yes, a lot of people here tonight for you. Not surprised. I'm paying the tuna driver. If there is a tuna driver move, I feel like somebody did name it somewhere. I love tuna salad, but I love some chopped cheese. I have to make people laugh for a minute. I know I'm going to get to IMF, and I got to give something to you. But I was in Outback Steakhouse about 2.5 weeks ago. One of my friends, and we were all ordering, we ordered a steak and whatever it was. And you know what the one guy orders? A grilled cheese sandwich at Outback Steakhouse. You got to be kidding me. At Outback Steakhouse, you order a grilled cheese sandwich? Boy, that's just my gripe there. Can't say I've ever had tuna, but do like a good beer. You know what? That's a fair point. I was signed with X's company, and I was waiting for Y's company too. Well, listen, I mean, everybody wants to go somewhere, I suppose. And laugh out loud. You've definitely come close, Gabe. I'm rooting for you, man. See, Copper heard the message.
Give it to me, Dragon.
He heard it. He heard the message. Now, Daniel Tafura, just want to let you know this. Instead of a 7-star, he can give you a 10-star match if you want one.
You got to put down the fucking tuna casserole, big boy. We got to
He's a big man. Match. He's a big man. He's a big man.
We got to last the entire match. I want to see the tuna casserole eating demon go against the sick dragon Il Drago.
Yeah, you know what? They know each other.
A Samoan fight. Maybe
I would love to
see
that. Absolutely. No, listen, I mean, we've talked a lot about that over the months. They've gotten to know each other and some of the other people. Angel talked about going to Iowa on Monday. Did you hear about that?
He wants to copy me. He wants to follow me because Angel's a
Well,
follower.
he did feel that if you went there, because he is the TF Crew World YouTube Champion, that he would be even more successful in showing up to Iowa. And he did have his problems with the people in Iowa, which I vehemently disagree, because I love all 50 states and I love everybody that comes here from different places. But Angel certainly had his opinions about Iowa, but I happen to love the state of Iowa.
Angel would probably stick out like a sore thumb in Iowa, and I don't need to explain why.
Okay, next comment. I understand the point. We are not going there. We were in Parade Magazine this past weekend, and I have on next week the one and only Mark Farner of Grand Funk Railroad. I mean, so we're not going to certainly upset that apple cart. And I had David Ellefson, the founding member of arguably the premier thrash band ever in Megadeth, come on Sportswire. So we're going to certainly make sure we don't mention Company X, Company Y, and certain people coming into different states and referencing different things. We are not doing that here. That's where yours truly will step in. Real Tafua says you get a 10 out of 10. Johnny 205 Live.
Why don't I get a fucking 10, Copper?
Well, that sounds, yeah, we're not going there. Thank you, Omen, for giving us levity. I can last longer than what you think. I can probably go longer than you. Johnny Revolver here. And what incarnation? Yes. Okay, all right. We're going to move on here because I got to talk about IMF. I got a few other things to plug, but I want to give this a TF Crew because it's time to do it, because you guys, as a company, joined the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame.
We're blessed. We're honored. Thank you, Tom. I very much appreciate that.
Yes, we're sponsoring next show. Don't worry about it.
Oh shit! Now we're gonna see. I sit up now, Tom. You got it.
I'm joking, of course. No, we love you guys. We wanted to give you this.
Thank you so much, Tom. No. It is an honor for everybody in the TF Crew, and we love being a part of Sportswire.
Yeah.
And we are obviously blessed for the opportunity to come on here and flap our gums and bullshit with you. And you know, it is certainly an honor, and I can't wait for you to get more and more TF Crew people on the show.
Yes, very excited about that. We had a great conversation about that off the air, and I definitely think there are some TF Crew talents that we haven't got a chance to come on here, and I'm really excited to get a chance to meet them and talk with them, because you have some, tremendous talents. Obviously, a lot of the NEW crew have been on here. Castor's been here, Angel's been here, and Jimmy's been here. Rad, but I think there's some other talents that would really have an interesting story to tell, and we really thank you guys as well for all the great work in the community. It was great hearing from Rick, somebody that's a little bit independent from the usuals that come on here in Sportswire, and had a lot of great things to say about what you guys are doing. And I think that always to me is important. And I appreciate companies like TF Crew and certainly a lot of the IMF people that are here, and the EWA and the WVWF and the USWA and, ROBW to help us get the amount of subscribers to get, these names like David Ellefson and Gus G and Mark Farner and Lorraine Lewis, people I want to look at. But I mean, no, we really appreciate it. If it weren't for the wrestlers and the wrestling companies, we wouldn't be here. But all right, we've done that. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice, figuratively and literally. We're all music, all sports, and wrestling matters here. And I have to ask you now, you have that IMF Hardcore Championship. You were returning to Cedar Rapids here, coming up 2 weeks from this weekend. You have a big test. You were last out there against Rory Fox. Obviously, different scenario, different circumstance, but Ox is finally ready to be out there, and he will go through literally everything to see you in that ring and take that championship that he has long coveted back. And I have to now talk about it and your thoughts on what's ahead here 2 weekends from now when you return to Cedar Rapids and put up that IMF Hardcore Championship.
I think number one, Tom, I'm excited. I'm really, really excited, Tom, to face someone who is an absolute pillar of this underground scene in Ox McCoy is not only a privilege, but it is an honor. And to do it with the stakes of the IMF Hardcore Championship is honestly amazing. I'm blessed. I'm honored. I'm excited. I'm going to learn a lot. I'm going to beat him up. He's going to beat me up. It's going to be a great time. But frankly, I think the most important part about that, Tom, is what else could really solidify my IMF Hardcore title reign like beating the greatest IMF Hardcore champion of all time? How else do I solidify my legacy with this belt than by beating the best hardcore champion ever? I think that's pretty understandable. And I think that Ox McCoy is no stepping stool. He's no hurdle. But Ox McCoy is someone that will forever be at the top of my list on my resume of people I've defeated for the IMF Hardcore Championship. And I think that's
Sure.
beautiful, Tom.
Well, there's no question that you had quite a match with Rory Fox. Obviously, Rory Fox is a tremendous competitor, and he's a guy that fits in with the likes of a Cheeseburger and a Wrecking Ball Legursky and others that you've been in a ring with in other places. So I ask you, from the experience that you had, even though it was a completely different match with the Rory Fox, what do you take away from that experience to prepare for what's ahead here 2 weekends from now?
Rory Fox obviously doesn't play by the rules. A little bit of a cheater, very greasy, lack of hair, mole rat of a human. But Rory Fox is a fantastic wrestler, and I learned a lot.
Yeah.
And I also was able to really sharpen my skills technically in the ring and fundamentally in the ring, facing someone like Rory Fox. And that was a really cool honor. And then I found out that Rory Fox's penis was live on WWE television, which I didn't know. I didn't know that until then I saw the clip on Twitter, and I did know that. That's awesome. That's really cool. The fact that IMF gave me that opportunity to do that, that is really awesome, and that was really, really cool and fun to do. Obviously, he cheated to win because, like I said, he's a naked mole rat of a human being who can't do anything himself. But at the end of the day, that is really cool. And prepare me for Ox. Something tells me that me and Ox aren't going to be chain wrestling out there. I mean,
no, absolutely not.
I could try. Something tells me it's not going to go my way. But I think Rory Fox sharpened. Wrestling is like having a shed full of tools. Rory Fox definitely sharpened some of my tools, but now it's time to break out some of the tools that the likes of Mikey Anarchy have helped me sharpen, and go show Ox what East Coast deathmatch is really like. This ain't no Midwest tuna dog eating. This ain't no, what do they call it? Puppy chow out there. What do they call their things out there? What is the made rights or whatever y'all call your damn fucking chopped cheese wannabe sandwiches? We're gonna show them some East Coast death. You know what I mean? This ain't no West Coast. This ain't no Midwest. This ain't no South. This is the East Coast, the premiere of wrestling, right?
Sure.
The best wrestling happens to the East Coast. I hate to break your heart, and I can't wait to show that to Ox McCoy.
What has your experience like been wrestling in the IMF?
Wrestling in the IMF has been so cool. It's been such a blessing. I've been able to teach. I've been able to wrestle. I've been able to have fun, go out with them. It's been honestly a total blast. I've made some real brothers over there in Iowa, and I've made some real great connections with the fans as well, which is really awesome. That's really what it's all about. I think being able to go over there and help train people like a Varel Crowley when they're not trying to cast a spell on me, and being able to help try to train up and improve someone like a Felix Jones, who, listen, Felix Jones is misguided, and he's like I was a misbehaving kid at his age, right? He's like fucking 18. He's a kid, you know what I mean? He doesn't know a wrist lock from a wristwatch from a hand job, right? The kid's fresh out the womb out there, and I get it. I was a defiant little snot-nosed rat at that age too, so I get it. I don't hold that against him. I think he was able to learn a lot of great things from our match, and I think he's been able to impress and really improve a lot as a competitor from stuff like that, and getting to work like that, getting to work with Jordan Nuts. I meant Nets. Jordan Nuts. And getting to work with a Jordan Nuts, who is someone who I think really needed a big match for his resume and needed a little bit of a confidence boost. And even though he didn't come out with the win, I thought he had a really impressive showing, and I thought he's definitely showing some improvement. And being able to help improve these guys and season up these guys. And listen, I may be the curator of white people food, but I like to season my friends. I like to season these people. To be able to get up there and season them and make them a little bit better, that's been such a blast. To be able to go out with them after shows, drink at the Iowa bar. Man, you know what? Iowa needs, Cedar Rapids needs a place to dance. You'd be surprised, man. There is nowhere to fucking dance out there. But, I won't hold that against Iowa because the food's pretty good. Going out there and being able to create these relationships.
If I get Slipknot on Sportswire, since they're from Iowa, I know some people have asked me, I get now all these names that get thrown out there. And if I get Slipknot on Sportswire, I'll have to ask Corey Taylor about this. Maybe Corey will know about this more so than what the others out there that haven't. But in terms of just your own experiences, obviously being a part of GTS, one of the biggest companies around all of wrestling, your experiences in places like Pure Vanguard Wrestling, certainly TF Crew and other places, the PAPW arena, learning there from, Mario Mancini, Paul Roma. These are guys that have done a lot in our sport. With that experience that you've learned over these past few years in helping some of the younger talents in IMF. What have you done from your own experiences, maybe to try to help those guys go up the ladder in their own rights?
I think it all starts fundamentally. I think a lot of these guys are uberly talented, have characters that they should be showing more of, and need to put themselves out there more. And I think that's all stuff that comes with time that they're working on. But man, fundamentally, I think fundamentally it's been definitely trying to get out there and the small things, whip reversals, man, proper chain, up and overs, all these different things that to me, as somebody who's been doing this for a good couple years, is just like second nature to me. Some of them have never done before. So getting out there, teaching those fundamental skills and boosting their fundamentals is making them more of a complete product. And that's my job. You can't be good at just the flippy dippy. You can't just be good at pissing people off, right? You need to be a complete product as a professional wrestler. To go out there and help them work on character, go out there and help them work on that technical ability and those fundamentals, is I'm helping make them complete products, and I'm helping create and make better wrestlers every time I go out there, which is it's best.
What is your experience like wrestling now in Cedar Rapids versus some of the other places that you've wrestled in?
Man, those fans are cool. I gotta say, man, maybe because there's nothing to do in Iowa besides have sex and eat maid rights, but the fans in Iowa are cool and they are into it and they are rabid. And I think being able to rile up some of those really cool IMF fans has been really, really cool. And it's different than a place like New Jersey where wrestling is so unbelievably oversaturated
Yeah,
that
I know New Jersey. It's
oh my
every
God,
night.
I got to do like
I
100
know.
front flips and damn near kill myself to get a
My
fucking
friend
reaction out there.
is a pro wrestler, Chris Urban, and
Mm.
it's like it's this. You just know is like 79,000 wrestling companies in the state of New Jersey. It's just, it's crazy in that sense. That I totally get that.
It's so oversaturated that I got to do backflips and massacre myself to get one grandma to halfway like me. And it's like, holy crap, I'm tired. And then IMF, I just go out there and I be me and I do my bullshit. I'm not exactly the most orthodox person and I don't do normal things. And they like it. That's cool. I don't got to massacre myself out there for the fans to appreciate what we do. And that's awesome. And listen, they might be a little bored out there in Iowa, but at the end of the day, they're very appreciating fans. And that's all I can ever ask for.
Absolutely. And we'd like people to support the IMF by following them on a few places: Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. We're very excited about the show here coming up in 2 weekends from now. We'll definitely have a lot of coverage coming up, especially as we get closer to the 24th. We'll see, I'm sure, some of your talents that you've seen accustomed to on Sportswire be here on the 22nd and some others. So stay tuned for some announcements on that. And Gabe Sayers will be a part of that undoubtedly, as he'll be defending the IMF Hardcore Championship against one Ox McCoy, and also one kiss proportion of Ranch, and heard you'll kiss in Iowa too. You will certainly have that comment left to yourself. And I've also got a solid knuckle sandwich for you, Gabe. I did hear a lot about those as a kid growing up. Those definitely hurt. Rory Fox is a very, very cool guy. Also had a birthday a few weeks ago. And
Yeah.
Ox is very excited to test his stuff against you. And also, I'm excited about that. We're going to leave these comments at that. Thank you to Fua and Omen Black. We'll leave them at that. Also, we have on here, we do not dance in Iowa, we fight. That is a very valid point. I want to come back to a few final thoughts on IMF in a minute, but I got to work in Pure Vanguard Wrestling before we get to that and close the show. We talked a lot about that with Angel, and also you were in the ring with Wrecking Ball Legursky. And I would have to think coming up here, we have a big show on Valentine's Day, I know, for Pure Vanguard Wrestling. And will we expect to see you back there coming up?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're gonna be there on Valentine's Day. Everybody knows that the Heartstopper is 2x effective on Valentine's Day. It's just like in Iowa, I go out there and I just fucking slay it. I listen. I'm not allowed to swear in Pure Vanguard Wrestling, so I'm gonna watch my tongue here for this Vanguard section of our discussion. And you know what? The Heartstopper is 2 times effective on Valentine's Day. I am a loving machine. And on Valentine's Day, in my home state, I'm going to be giving out some love. I got a lot of love to give out, Tom. And I've also become a lot clearer in the head at Pure Vanguard Wrestling. I was running with Angel for a second over there. I was like, oh, let's hang out. I learned the hard way that hanging out with a guy that doesn't take showers in the locker room gets you hated for a lot of reasons. But I'm learning, I'm improving, and I'm growing. And on Valentine's Day, I got a lot of love to give all over Pure Vanguard Wrestling.
Well, that we'll certainly see. I know Rad Dad is a part of that. The champion Randy Shawn and Angel talked about, which I'll leave Angel to that. He had talked about that he wants championship gold in Pure Vanguard Wrestling. You'll have to stay tuned,
Of course he
and
does.
that's the schedule in Pure Vanguard Wrestling. And Valentine's Day, we'll see action resume. Also, shows coming up in April, June, August, October, and November at the Boys and Girls Club. And I'll come back to TF Crew here before we come to IMF and final thoughts. And I have to ask you about the big show that we have in Milford, and Angel spoke about it. I know we don't have a date yet. You'll announce it after Syndicate Siege, but I think that's a great thing for the wrestling community and what you're doing out there for the Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah. I think one other thing I think you should definitely take a little note of is also the Vanguard Sportatorium. Some real big things happening with that, with in and out of Vanguard, and that's all I can leave at that for now.
Okay. Do you have any final words first in TF Crew for your opponents here, the Murder, for those tag team championships?
The Murder have disrespected something bigger than just me. Did more than just disrespect and hurt Mikey Anarchy. Is they've disrespected the entire company, running around thinking they own the place, running around being, angels lackeys, not angels lackeys, whatever, right? At the end of the day, on Sunday, the Murder are going to get hurt. This is not just about me and Mikey winning a match. This is about hurting the Murder and freeing the titles from the grasps of the Murder. That is not a threat. That is simply a promise. January 11th, I free the TF Crew from the shackles that are Richie the Madman and Chris Jackson.
Do you have any final words for anybody that may watch this or in general have an interest in potentially coming out to the show?
I think that if you have ever gone to a TF Crew show before, I think that this is one of those measuring stick style shows that is going to show you how much we've grown and how much that we can and will grow. I think you compare this show to the Backyard Bash, or even compare this show to a North Haven Massacre or a Death Row.
Yes.
It's going to be night and day, and I think that's the beauty of it. Insane talent. The Cheenies, Rad Dad, Wrecking Ball, Cheeseburger, but also some of the best up-and-coming talent in the entire scene, in guys like Corey Duke, Caster. Like, we have such a diverse, talented team of wrestlers here at the TF Crew that you're gonna see Cheeseburger, who's on Ring of Honor. But you're also gonna see Leonidas, who is one of the best up and comers in Connecticut. I think that it's really cool at the TF Crew how well we are able to diversify talent and also push our guys that are working their ass off to be better in every single match that they have and give them opportunities to grow in every single match that they have.
Absolutely. And that's why you need to go out here one more time before we transition to the IMF to please support the TF Crew. You can do that on YouTube, Instagram, and if you want to go on Instagram, that's where you can get more information on buying a ticket. The show will take place at the Lincoln Room in beautiful Bristol, Connecticut, now the home of also the TF Crew. In addition to ESPN, TF Crew is the Connecticut leader in wrestling, just like ESPN is the worldwide leader in sports. And you can watch the show for only $15. The doors open at 2:30. Get there a little bit before that. Bell time is for 3 o'clock. You'll see a slew of tremendous matches, including Angel Santiago and Cheeseburger for the TF Crew World YouTube Championship. The Tag Team Championships will be on the line with Mikey Anarchy and Gabe Sayers. The Underground Pillars taking on the Murder. You'll also see the tomorrow's end gauntlet, the number one contendership match to decide who will challenge Doc Holliday, who will not be wrestling on the show. Angel announced that. Corey Duke and Wrecking Ball Legursky. What a small world wrestling is. I spoke about him 5 years ago. Here we are today. Bloodsaw and a mystery opponent against the Cheenies. I'm really excited about that match. We've also got Francesca Chini and Emily Sexton. We talked a lot about that history and also just announced for the Mat Pro Grand Championship. We know what Rad Dad went through to win that championship. Now he's only got a 25% chance of retaining it. He'll be defending against the worldwide renowned Mark the Shark. We've also got Jimmy Controversy, a man we know very well, and of course, Leonidas. So please,
the Controversion.
Yeah. Well, you said it. I'm going to leave that at that. But we'll get to some more comments. But I do want to give you the opportunity now. Do you have any final words for Ox McCoy before the 24th?
Ox McCoy, you are a legend in the Midwest, and you are somebody that I am so excited to house on my resume. Like I said, you'll never just be a hurdle. You'll never just be an obstacle in my way. But Ox, you are going to make my IMF Hardcore Championship run the greatest of all time when I begin it by beating you and retaining the title January 24th. Ox, I love you. I think you're a great human. I think you're a great worker. I think you're a great person, a great father. But none of that's going to matter when it's just me and you and a pile of weapons in the way. Because frankly, this isn't the Midwest. I don't care about Missouri. I don't care about Texas. I don't care about any of that. The home of deathmatch wrestling in the United States is on the East Coast. I hate to break your heart. I've seen it. I've done it. I lived it, Ox. So you may think that you've been in the game for a long time, but this isn't a game to me. This is real fucking life. And you're going to see that January 24th when I am still your IMF Hardcore Champion.
And if fans bring the weapons match, nevertheless, that certainly throws a wrench into this, and we'll see who it benefits. I think that'll certainly be a very interesting question that we'll be pondering over the next 2 weeks. And this will take place on January 24th. But you know that we'll have plenty of coverage here on Sportswire, especially as we get closer to the lead up. And Gabe Sayers will be wrestling against Ox McCoy. And there's the wild card, Varel Crowley, especially we know with the heavy heart that Varel has right now for her grandfather. Maybe that'll be a factor in her outside the ring. I don't know. We also know we got a slew of other matches. I mean, Rory Fox, who Gabe just wrestled, will be out there against Austin Bayless. We've got Soldier and Felix Jones, Il Drago's in action, and a lot of other stuff. And the tag team championships are defended again. You know, Sean Jovi will have plenty to say about that once again. But please support the IMF on Instagram, YouTube, and we'll get to final thoughts here. Before I do that, I have some more comments, which, speaking of which, to be serious for a moment, Gabe, I respect and love you, but I have to get that title back. I have to prove to everyone and myself that I am the baddest around between Mississippi and the Missouri, and I am the measuring stick of ultra violence in the Midwest. Doc Holliday is here after all.
See, everybody lets in Doc. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's big on TikTok now, by the way. Very big on TikTok. Also, Varel has this to say. I've got something for you, Gabe, and also something for you, Ox. Looking forward to the 24th. Who knows there? Will be a treat. And a piece of candy. That could be the case. There you go. Thank you, Doc. Doc loves Halloween. And hey, the countdown's getting there. I'll see you on the 24th, Varel. Please support the TF crew on YouTube as well. Give them a sub. Give them a follow on Instagram. Somebody else that knows you also is a fan that shows up to the arena. Would like to say Gabe in caps locks. And before we sign off, is there anything else you want to plug or promote before I give you the floor?
Tom, I want every single person watching this, everyone who participates in this community, to simply know that every single day we should be taking a step forward to better ourselves and better the community that we reside in. Whether that's in the TF crew for me, whether that's anywhere I go in my travels, anywhere I work, I am constantly working to improve myself, improve my community. I do that with social media. I do that with wrestling. I do that when I train. I do that as much as I humanly can. So I'm not going to plug anything else. I'm not going to advertise anything.
Well, I'm going to plug your Instagram because
I appreciate that.
Well, because you are, there's a reason why I'm going to do that, because you were close to monetization on Instagram, 10,000 followers. You're actually not that far from there now. I mean,
nope,
so
we're getting close. Isn't that crazy?
You're going to get there, because I remember you had what, like 1,700 2.5 years ago. Now you're at 8,000 plus, because you certainly hit the jackpot, but now you'll get the 10,000, you'll get monetized. And I would really encourage people to follow Gabe on Instagram. You already follow him on YouTube. You follow the TF crew. So please support Gabe and all the things that he's doing. And he's a big part of things like Pure Vanguard Wrestling, IMF, certainly TF crew, his own company, and his other works out there for his YouTube channel with his NFL stuff. We'll get to that at a different time, but we're really here to promote TF crew and IMF, which Gabe will be a big part. We've got a very, very busy next few weekends. So please support him, and TF crew goes into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. Also, we have here, Dom says hi to Gabe. Obviously, we know your relationship with Dom, and I know you were definitely upset about what Felix did to Dom, and we know about that, and Soldier did get a little bit of revenge, and Soldier did throw out Felix in that little promo for the announcement of the match at New Year's Vengeance. So there'll definitely be a lot there to talk about, and that was one family feud I'm not getting involved in at this point. We want to keep the gravy train growing and growing and growing and going. So we'll leave that at that. But my friend, I know you got to run. You're a very busy man. I want to thank you so much for your support. Thank you for the opportunity to talk about your company and all the great things you're doing in these other places. And I want to congratulate you on the success upcoming for Syndicate Siege, despite some of the things you may feel about Angel. But nevertheless, I'm excited to see what the future holds for you and all the great companies out there, including IMF and certainly Pure Vanguard Wrestling. Anywhere else we might see you. And thank you as always. And Happy New Year. And hope to see you soon.
Thank you again, Tom. It's a pleasure. It's an honor. Your contributions as a sponsor, but even your contributions and just letting us come over here and have a platform to talk about our stuff on.
Hey, we wouldn't have the big boys without you guys. I mean, I keep putting that out there. I mean, I wouldn't have, the big names without you. I mean,
big names wouldn't have anywhere to go to talk if there wasn't you, Tom. So it's a
I
know.
In wrestling, maybe I'll let you get with that, but I can't say that with Gus G and people like David Ellison. They'll find somebody else. I mean, I appreciate you for saying that, but we appreciate that. It was very nice of you to say.
You give us the platform, and we are all immensely grateful. No. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Your contributions in and out do not go unnoticed, and I cannot wait to put on a great show for you.
No, you guys definitely will, and I'm really excited about the work, and I want to thank Rick for the kind words he had to say about you guys and letting me share that on the air. And we're really excited about the future of the TF crew, and please support the guys. And also, I wanted to throw it out there. This was Parade Magazine before we came on the air, and they had a little article about Sportswire Radio and some different things. So they were kind enough to share that, and we appreciate everybody for their support for helping us get there. So please support, most importantly, Gabe Sayers and the companies he represents, such as TF Crew, NEW. I like to shout out NEW as well for their great work, and Resolution. And I'm sure we'll talk about that at a different time, and a lot to get into. Yes, we'll get into that. I definitely got to get into that very soon. And but most importantly, TF Crew, IMF, and Pure Vanguard Wrestling. And that is Gabe Sayers. He will be in action coming up here this Sunday. He'll be in action alongside Mikey Anarchy against the TF Crew World Tag Team Champions, The Murder. He'll also be in action defending his IMF Hardcore Championship against Ox McCoy 2 Saturdays from now here at Cedar Rapids. Backyard Barbecue is also a sponsor. Please support them. Kiera's Comfy Creations. Please support that. Also, he's the All Wrestling Matters champion. Stay tuned for more on that. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice figuratively and literally all music, all sports, all wrestling matters. I'll be here 3 times tomorrow. I'll be here starting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time with the basis of the band Tail Gunner Bones. I'll be here right after that, 8 o'clock, with the front man of the thrash metal band Aftermath. And then I'll be here at 9 o'clock with Maverick of the WVWF competing for the King of the Mountain Championship. But don't worry, 7:30 and 8 o'clock are not live, because then my voice would really blow out. And then maybe Gabe will take over Sportswire. But we'll see about that. But somebody wants to finally. But until then, hit the sub button for us. Hit the sub button for Gabe and all the companies he represents. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On the number one global radio station, that is Sportswire Radio, with all music, all sports, and all wrestling. Thank you so much, everybody. God bless, and we'll see you tomorrow.